Save them? When you devoured those children years ago, why didn't you think about saving them? We. All right, that's enough for today. I'm tired. The mystery that plagued my mind has been solved, but now my head aches even more. That evening, I sat in the rest room the prefect had arranged. A maid brought a rather substantial tray of food. Why only one serving? Bring another. Taoist priestess, you certainly have a hearty appetite. The maid turned to prepare more food. Hearty appetite? We're two people, of course we need 2 servings. Truthfully, after a day filled with sorrow, I had no appetite left. I gave my portion to Little Radish. You eat first, kid. If it's not enough, you can have mine later too. Really? Great, but what about you? Aren't you eating? Don't feel like it. Little Radish ate with relish, seemingly unaware that in a few days, this city would face a catastrophic disaster. He was truly full and content, without a single worry. Watching him eat, I suddenly remembered my master, descending the mountain for the first time, just like this. I lowered my head and ate. Little Radish stood beside me, watching me silently and smiling. Master, I want to go home now. Thinking about it, this was only my first time descending the mountain, and I'd already encountered so many troubles. My master has been a heavenly guard for so many years, surely she's faced far more vexing issues. Now the identities of the 100 ghosts on the mountain are clear, but what exactly do they fear? I wanted to stop thinking, but the more I thought, the more my head hurt. And not thinking wasn't an option. If I didn't know what they feared, I couldn't control them. What do ghosts fear anyway? Oh, right. You still haven't told me why everything you learn is about skin and fur. Want to know? Call me elder sister. You're not much older than me. Still older. If you want to hear, call me elder sister. Finally, curiosity triumphed over pride. Elder sister Zhao, tell me, that skin stripping thing and that human face skin, how do you make it disappear with just a touch? Heh, I chuckled smugly. That story begins when I first met Master. Master said my temperament was rebellious and my aptitude shallow. I definitely never learned the great Tao in this life, only a few trivial tricks. So I thought, if I could only learn minor tricks, then Master should just teach me those skin and fur techniques. And that's how I learned all sorts of skin and fur techniques. And then what? What do you mean, and then what? Is that all? So what else do you want to know? What? Nothing spectacular. I flicked his forehead. Actually, the inherited magic of each heavenly guard is a secret, absolutely not to be revealed to outsiders. So you consider me an outsider. Then why did you tell me to call you elder sister? I don't consider you an outsider, but even if I told you, you wouldn't understand. These things are both complicated and hard to grasp. Oh, Little Radish nodded, looking like he understood yet understood nothing at all. I sighed with relief, chatting with him for a bit, feeling much more at ease. Suddenly, I felt my head spin and my vision blur. Right, I'd been utterly exhausted all day. For some reason, I wanted to sleep terribly. Little Radish, I'm going to sleep for a bit. Slap, a direct slap to my face. You stinky brat. MMPH. Halfway through my sentence, he clapped his hand over my mouth. The boy pointed outside the door. I followed his gaze and saw a small hole in the window paper with a dart blowgun piercing through it, emitting a pale yellow smoke. I immediately understood. No wonder I was so sleepy. Someone had poisoned me. Outside the door, a few shadowy figures flickered. Who is it, humans or ghosts? I wondered as I ducked under the bed. The people outside, sensing no movement in the room, pushed the door open and entered. Turns out, it was the prefect's attendants from earlier in the day, the very ones who had stopped him from recounting the story of swapping children to eat years ago. Seeing they were mere mortals, I felt relieved. Little Radish, stay here, don't come out. Those men were still rummaging around the room, searching for me. Stop looking, your auntie is right here. I stepped out, facing these men with their swords and bald heads. Pretty clever, aren't you? You know I use my hair for spells, don't you? Stop your nonsense. Tonight we'll deal with you, you demoness. Why are you calling me a demoness? You use enchanting words to tell stories of ghosts eating people. If that's not demonic, then what is? Whether ghosts eat people or not, I don't know, but you lot. You have *eaten people for real. Silence, the leader shouted, flustered and enraged. Our children ate or were eaten. What does that have to do with you, an outsider? Moreover, for a child to be eaten by their parents to ensure the parent's survival, that is also fulfilling filial piety. After hearing that, I was suddenly seized with the urge to package these men up and send them straight to Mount Udu, telling the ghosts living there, "Hey, ghost brothers, these ones are for you to savor slowly. I'm not going to manage them anymore. Enough, talking to you is just a waste of breath." I pulled out 3 strands of green hair and flung them. Magic requires hair, but it doesn't necessarily have to be their asterisk hair. Little Radish, did you know? People's hair usually grows outwards, but have you ever seen hair grow inwards asterisk? Never. Well, today you will. You demoness, what nonsense are you spouting? The 3 strands of hair, like nimble snakes, burrowed straight into the leader's throat. Immediately after, black, murky hairs began to crawl out from his eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and even unspeakable places. His entire body trembled, blood oozing from him, the result of the hairs on his body beginning to grow inwards asterisk. The remaining men tried to flee, but I pulled out a few more strands of hair and dealt with them in a similar fashion. All done, Little Radish crawled out from under the bed. Mostly, yes, but I left one of them with his tongue intact. I want to ask him some questions. I kicked the man lying on the ground, the one being held for interrogation. Why did you try to assassinate me? Who ordered it? Tell me the truth, don't beat around the bush. No one ordered it, or rather, everyone ordered it. I told you not to beat around the bush. What exactly do you mean? It's because everyone believes that your method of exposing the truth is improper and against the etiquette, so they sent us here. I was silent for a moment, then finally exploded. So, you eating people is proper and legal. Sacrificing your children is proper and legal. A child's life is given by their parents, so parents killing their children isn't considered murder. These people were truly beyond help. I kicked him again, knocking him unconscious. So, are you still going to save these people? Or should I ask, are the people of Wuling City truly worth saving? I answered Little Radish with silence. After a moment, I tried to speak. My master once said, "I'm not asking what your master thinks. I'm asking what you think." I don't know. Perhaps there are still children in Wuling who haven't been eaten. I came here to save them. But the children who have already been eaten, are there any left who haven't? Perhaps there are, perhaps. It's getting late, you should go to sleep. I tried to end the conversation, fearing that if I said more, I wouldn't know if my spiritual resolve could hold firm. Little Radish left. I looked at the people lying on the ground. These types of people spoke of benevolence, morality, propriety, and filial piety, yet their actions were to eat human flesh. Even at this point, they weren't thinking of eliminating ghosts, but only of killing people. A complex emotion intertwined within my heart: disgust, resentment, but also another feeling: fear. Filth cloaked in the guise of civilization. This label of eating human flesh is proper and righteous filled me with a profound fear. Wait, fear? Yes, that's it, I found it. I found what these living ghosts fear. The more humans hate something, the more they fear it. So living ghosts must surely fear themselves. Finally, I had a clue. But besides this, I still needed the help of one person. I looked towards the boy sleeping soundly on the bed, then stepped out of the room alone and took the city god statue from my bag. Old man, come out, I know you're not hiding. The small statue emitted a voice. How long have you known I wasn't hiding? Just now, you really are. All right, no more nonsense. I checked the county records during the day. This city god temple was built in the 12th year of Jiayu, which is from the previous dynasty. From the previous dynasty until now, it's been 86 years. That means you've been receiving incense offerings from the people for nearly 100 years. Yes, so what? I want you to give all the incense offerings from the past nearly 100 years to me. You're crazy. I'm not crazy. I know that even though I've found a way to subdue these living ghosts, my own cultivation isn't enough. I must borrow some incense power from the city god. I'll return it once I'm done, not a single bit will be lost. If I wait until the living ghosts truly enter the city, I'm afraid there won't be any chance to get close to them. Therefore, I absolutely must borrow some of the city god's power. Think about it carefully. I'm only borrowing a little incense. But if you wait until they arrive, not only the people but even you will be swallowed by them. Your city god temple will be taken over. If you don't do this, how can they become immortals? You really are, the city god mumbled, seemingly understanding the gravity but still trying to save face. Destroying my temple by day, then coming to borrow incense by night. A mere girl like you dares to do such a thing. Stop with this little girl and that little girl. You are the city god, I am a heavenly guard. According to Emperor Dayu's rules, I'm even your superior. Lord Emperor Yu has been gone for how many years? What's the point of talking about it? Don't drag irrelevant things into this. Tell me quickly, will you lend it or not? The city god replied surprisingly concisely. Consider this an old man risking his life to help someone for once. Tomorrow, you find some ingredients for incense, then break my golden statue, sprinkle your heart's blood on it, and mix it with those ingredients to make incense. On the full moon day, light the incense and place it in the city god temple. All my centuries' worth of merit and incense power will be transferred to you. But can you handle it? I knew well that living beings accepting incense offerings was not a good thing. In this world, some people have temples built for them while still alive to enjoy incense offerings. But only great sages, revered by countless people, can withstand the weight of such incense. As for corrupt officials who fund their own living temples, not only do they fail to extend their lifespan, but they are consumed by a green flame that shortens their mortal years. Though I am a heavenly guard, I am no saint. Borrowing incense like this would inevitably reduce my lifespan, yet I replied, I must endure it whether I can or not. Since you're not afraid, then I won't be timid either. Hearing him say that, I couldn't help but sigh. If you didn't flee during the day, then when I broke your temple, why didn't you stop me? No, I did flee during the day, but I couldn't escape. The next day, the prefect came to me. Taoist priestess, what happened last night, it wasn't me. All right, what happened last night is over. I don't want to pursue who is responsible. Talking about it now is meaningless. I only have two things to say. First, old Taoist priest, lead men to demolish all the temples in the city, smash all the statues, and use the bricks from those temples to build walls. Remember to refine the Guanyin statues, bring me the gold you extract, and distribute the remaining pulp to the city's soldiers. These temple statues receive incense day and night. Perhaps a little divine essence remains. Using them to build walls might ward off ghosts. Mixing Guanyin statues into weapons means even mortals can harm ghosts. Understood. Second, prefect, find a way to summon all the women in the city who have ever given birth here. I need to meet them. Yes, Taoist priestess. The old Taoist priest leaned in and asked me, have you found a way to subdue those living ghosts? What is it? Can't say. If I say it, I won't be able to scare them anymore. Afterward, the prefect led me to meet the women, while the old Taoist priest went to prepare other matters. By afternoon, the Taoist priest returned to me, handing me 2 cloth bags. I opened them to find pure gold powder inside. If one hadn't studied alchemy, they surely couldn't refine it like this. I didn't expect you to know alchemy. Just a little bit. Although he said so, the old man's smug expression looked as if he was about to float to the sky. You can draw talismans and refine elixirs. Old Taoist priest, where did you learn that? I wasn't as lucky as you to have a master. I just found a book and practiced from it myself. Really? Why would I lie to you now? Your comprehension is quite good. What good is comprehension? The way I practice, if I cultivate for a few more years, I'll die before I become an immortal. All right, let's not talk about that anymore. Hey, old Taoist priest, do you know any monks skilled in raising ghosts? Why would I know a ghost-raising monk? Why are you suddenly asking about that? No reason, just asking. I still remembered the scene I had witnessed in the ruined house. The ghosts on Mount Udu were being cultivated by someone. The ghost raiser was the high monk the prefect had mentioned. But where was that monk now? Why didn't he come to lead away the ghosts he had raised? Or had everything gone out of control and he simply abandoned them? Right, old Taoist priest, I still haven't asked why you came to Wuling. To catch ghosts, of course. When I first heard the prefect say there were ghosts on the mountain behind Wuling City, I thought I could earn some silver, so I came to check it out. Who knew I'd run into you as soon as I got to the mountain? I even thought you were the ghost. Back then, I simply thought, how easy to earn 40 taels of silver. Who knew things would turn out like this? The next few days passed in quiet repetition, demolishing temples, building walls, smashing statues to extract powder. And I went to meet each woman in the city who had given birth. A peaceful scene before the storm. On the final night, I met the last of those women, considering what I needed to do almost complete. As for whether it would be effective, only tomorrow would tell. Worrying more was useless. I could only say I had done my best and left the rest to fate. I still had one last thing to do. Little Radish, why are you looking for me? I took a scroll from my chest and handed it to him. Run away, run where? Hasn't Wuling City been sealed off? We can't escape, can we? You can escape, I calmly replied. Before I descended the mountain, Master gave me 2 life-saving items. This is one of them, called the 1,000-mile sprint scroll. After using it, no matter where you are, you can immediately return to Qingcheng Mountain. But it's only enough for one person. Take it and escape. What about you? I told you, I'm a Heavenly Guard. I have to stay here and face that great ghost. It's no use, you'll die. It's all right to die. The old Taoist priest is right. In these times, being alive till now is already a blessing. But you're still young, you have a future ahead of you. Go. Even the city god has fled. Heaven has turned a blind eye. What's the point of struggling alone? There must be a way. Let's run away together. Perhaps there's a way. But if we knew it would come to this, why bother in the first place? Why bother in the first place? Why did Emperor Yu bother forging the 9 tripods to suppress the demons of Jiazhu? Why did the true sages bother creating writing, or the holy sages establish rites and music to civilize the people? Why must we love each other? Why must we pursue light? If from beginning to end we always lived in darkness, always just running away, always living days of humans eating humans, ghosts eating humans, and then ghosts eating ghosts. Then now, if that great ghost from Mount Udu descends and devours us all, no one would utter a single word of complaint. But if we knew it would be like this, why bother in the first place? Because in this world, there are always people unwilling to live forever in darkness. There are people who would rather speak and die than live in silence. I don't want to run anymore. But I can't defeat it. Hearing that, I laughed. Master once told me, ghosts will wear human skin to deceive humans, and we, Heavenly Guards, will wear ghost skin to deceive ghosts. So, I'm not going to fight the ghost, I'm going to deceive the ghost. There's no point in saying more, you go. I looked at the boy. One last thing. If you meet my master, please tell her that her disciple, dull in talent and stubborn in nature, often troubled her in the past. But to have been her disciple in this life, I am truly happy. It's just that this time, this disciple must also sacrifice herself for the Tao and cannot repay master's kindness. The unruly disciple, Zhao Yaqing, bowed her head in apology. After speaking, I tore the scroll. Little Radish vanished from sight. On the night of the full moon, a fierce wind blew. The old Taoist priest and I stood on the city wall, waiting for the ghosts to arrive. Beside us were armored soldiers, weapons in hand, ready for battle. The incense in the temple had been lit. Looking up, I saw a faint wisp of incense smoke directly above my head. On my hip hung 6 bags of gold dust, containing all the gold the old Taoist priest could refine. In my chest was the item I had prepared to scare the ghosts. I reached back to touch the back of my neck, where a life-saving hair left by my master was. I didn't know if it could truly save my life. Everything that could be prepared, I had prepared. Now, all that remained was to wait for the ghosts. I glanced at the old Taoist priest beside me. Old Taoist priest, don't move. Is there a bug on your face? Is there? No matter, I flicked it off. My hand recoiled, conveniently snatching a strand of his hair and tucking it into my sleeve. Harming others should be avoided, but guarding against them is absolutely necessary. I didn't know if this time would be life or death. Old Taoist priest, if we survive, I'll invite you for a drink. Zhao Yaqing, don't say such inauspicious words. Besides, you're still so young, can you even drink alcohol? Hey, what do you mean by that? Anyway, today Wait, why do I hear gongs and drums? It sounds like wedding music. Is someone having a wedding? Don't joke. In the dead of night like this, who'd be getting married? The old Taoist priest also heard a faint sound in the distance. But why does this sound not like wedding music, but rather like funeral music? How can it be funeral music? No sooner had I spoken than a piercing horn blast echoed from afar. The high-pitched wail of the horn made me involuntarily shiver. Looking into the distance, through the dense fog, two processions slowly approached. One was draped in red, led by 4 children scattering flowers and coins on the ground. Next, 8 strong men in red carried a bright red bridal sedan chair. Behind them was a group of indistinct figures, rhythmically beating gongs and drums. At the end of the procession was a lively crowd, dressed in human clothes, wearing paper masks, laughing and chatting boisterously. Congratulations on your wealth. May you have noble children soon, 100 years of happiness. Quick rebirth. The other procession was draped in white, led by 4 old women holding baskets, scattering golden paper and white flowers onto the road. 8 gaunt ghosts carried a large coffin, followed by shadowy figures blowing leaf horns. Behind the funeral procession, wailing cries filled the sky. My child, why did you leave so soon? How can I live without you, my child? The deceased is gone, please grieve less. Suffering in the mortal world, Western Pure Land. What in the world is this? It's the ghosts from Mount Udu. What are they doing? What else? Wedding, funeral, they're here for the feast, and we are the feast they intend to eat. The city guards were trembling with fear. Don't be afraid, the city wall is built with Buddha bricks, they won't get in easily. But the red and white ghosts, after gathering outside the city gate, didn't charge in immediately. They stopped, seemingly with no intention of attacking the city. From among the ghosts, a ghost wearing a half-red, half-white robe stepped out, looking like a master of ceremonies. The master of ceremonies ghost spoke in a shrill, operatic voice, addressing the coffin. Please, groom, emerge from the coffin. The groom is a ghost, the groom. Just then the coffin lid sprang open. From within, a shivering corpse sat up, its face pale white, a large red flower pinned to its chest. The master of ceremonies ghost then turned to the red sedan chair, singing, Please, bride, alight from the sedan chair. From within the sedan chair, a bride in brilliant red stepped out. What are they doing? This is nothing like what's written in the books. Stop thinking about your crappy book, old Taoist priest. Although I said so, even I didn't understand what on earth was happening. What were these ghosts really doing? Outside the city gate, the groom and bride, or more accurately, the 2 ghosts stood before the master of ceremonies ghost. The master of ceremonies ghost continued to chant, First bow to heaven and earth. The groom and bride knelt, bowing to heaven and earth. Second bow to the ancestors. The 2 ghosts turned towards Wuling City and bowed. Husband and wife bow to each other. The 2 ghosts turned and bowed to each other. Enter the bridal chamber. The surrounding ghosts cheered, their painted paper faces grinning eerily, looking even more bizarre. 100 years of harmony, may you have noble children soon, prosperity and wealth, endless sorrow. Enter the bridal chamber, I suddenly cried out, I understand. Understand what? Don't you see? The living ghost on Mount Udu doesn't intend to enter the city and eat people to become human. So what is it trying to do? It's obvious. Husband and wife bow, bridal chamber, give birth to children. Damn it. It's making these 2 ghosts perform a ghost marriage so they can give birth to asterisk it. If the plan succeeds, it will transform from a living ghost into a living human. No, absolutely not. We cannot let them complete the bridal chamber. Once it transforms into a human, all our prepared methods will be useless. So what do we do now? What else? Open the city gate, crash the wedding, don't be cowardly anymore. Open the city gate. If we don't risk our lives now, we're all dead. I rallied the soldiers beside me. Under their cover, I charged straight into the ghosts. In the distance, the ghostly couple was moving towards their bridal chamber. I had to stop them. But the ghosts clinging to us were simply too numerous. If this continued, we would be dragged down and killed sooner or later. I opened the cloth bag on my body and scattered 1 bag of gold dust. A temporary path opened among the ghosts. I tossed the remaining 4 bags of gold dust to the old Taoist priest. Old Taoist priest, you guys hold off the ghosts here. I'll charge ahead alone. You gave all of it to me, what will you use? I still have one bag, and with the incense merit protecting me, the ghosts can't do anything to me for now. With those words, I plunged into the midst of the ghost horde. Among the ghosts, dozens of icy cold hands reached out from all directions to grab me. But as soon as they touched me, they seemed to be burned by hot fire and immediately recoiled. On my head, the large incense stick was burning very quickly, losing a quarter of its length in a blink of an eye. There wasn't much time left. I charged straight ahead, the distance to the ghostly couple growing shorter. My hand gripped the last bag of gold dust. If I could sprinkle this bag on them, perhaps it would prevent the birth of that living ghost. A little closer, I was almost upon them. Just then, a crimson hand from behind snatched me, gripping my entire body tightly. The incense stick on my head immediately flared brightly. Turning my head, I saw that the one who had caught me was the crimson ghost. The crushing force of its gigantic hand felt like it wanted to pulverize all my internal organs. "City God, do what you can, burn it for me," I screamed in rage. The incense stick on my head erupted into a fierce blaze, losing half its length in a blink of an eye. The crimson ghost let out a pained shriek. Its hand had been burned through, leaving a large hole. I fell to the ground. Just as I was about to look for the ghostly couple, I realized they had vanished into the vast sea of ghosts. From all directions, large ghosts, small ghosts, new ghosts, old ghosts, surged towards me, surrounding me. "It's over." I quickly reached up to pull out the life-saving hair from the back of my neck, but unexpectedly, they rushed at me with red strips of cloth, intending to bind me tightly. "What are you trying to do?" A red egg was shoved into my mouth. The dazzling red bridal gown was forcibly draped over me. A headdress adorned with red flowers was also pressed onto my head. The ghosts bound me so tightly I was like a trussed pig, then carried me to the bright red bridal sedan chair. Damn it, I've been tricked. They're forcing me into a ghost marriage. The incense merit on my body could resist ghostly aura, but it couldn't withstand the ceremony of entering the sedan chair for a wedding. A piercing shriek erupted from that damnable ghost. I was shoved inside, bound so tightly I couldn't move. First sedan, the 8 strong ghosts lifted the bridal sedan chair. Behind it, the wedding procession, some beating drums, some clanging gongs, incredibly lively. 100 years of happiness. May you have noble children soon, early transcendence, prosperity and wealth. It's truly over. This time I'm really done for. Sitting inside the sedan chair, I was bound so tightly I couldn't struggle. Even if I tried to untie the ropes, there was no way to escape quickly. Where would this bridal sedan chair be carried? Who would be my ghost marriage partner? Outside, the music still resonated loudly, wave after wave, making my heart heavy. It was unclear how long the sedan chair had traveled. Suddenly, the wedding music stopped. Immediately after, there were a few desperate screams. Outside was completely silent. It seemed this sedan chair had been intercepted by someone. I finally managed to untie the red cloth binding me and spit out the egg that had been stuffed into my mouth. Who had stopped this sedan chair? Or had we arrived? As I was lost in thought, a strange sound echoed from outside again. It sounded like crying, yet also like laughter. It was like an angry roar, yet also like a sorrowful wail, sending chills down my spine. But staying in the sedan chair forever wasn't an option. I needed to return to Wuling County, otherwise the ghosts would storm the city and devour the people. I lifted the sedan curtain and stepped out. Before me stood a gigantic, corpulent, and terrifying monster. It loomed like a mountain, its obese body riddled with countless holes. These holes resembled human mouths, crow mouths, dog mouths, snake mouths. Its 2 enormous hands picked up the scattered ghost fragments on the ground and shoved them into the mouths on its body. Its head was like a cross, similar to the kind Western monks hold while chanting. The 4 ends of the cross were 4 faces with different expressions, one smiling, one angry, one full of sorrow, and one foolishly grinning. And in the center of the cross, there was another face, but this face bore no expression and its eyes were tightly shut. What kind of monster is this? I secretly regretted not studying harder in the past. I am no monster. I am the great god 5 manifestations of Mount Dujiao. Oh, this old man is truly blessed to be able to marry such a beautiful bride. The smiling face spoke. Beautiful women are all evil. I say just kill her and be done with it. The angry face interjected. Looking at her, she clearly doesn't like us at all. It's true, we're so ugly, who could like us? The sorrowful face continued to sob. And the foolishly grinning face kept its shy smile. I don't know who you are, but I have urgent matters to attend to. It would be better if you let me go. And if I don't let you go? I reached for the life-saving hair at the back of my neck. I had initially intended to save it for that living ghost, but it seemed I had to use it sooner than planned. I warn you, I have a life-saving hair on me, left by my master. Once I pull it out, things won't be easy to resolve. Oh, then quickly pull it out. It seemed there was no other way. I firmly pulled out the hair. Master, save your disciple's life. At that moment, I had no idea that 1,000 miles away, on Qingcheng Mountain, my master was drinking tea with my martial uncle. Are you not worried, letting your disciple descend the mountain like that? Oh no, it's fine. Before she left, I gave her 2 life-saving items. One of them is a life-saving hair, the one Master left me that year. As long as she plucks it out, she can invite Master's spirit back from the immortal realm. At that point, demons and ghosts are nothing. Speaking of which, I really miss Master, my master said, reaching back to touch the back of her neck. Her expression immediately changed. Oh no, this is really bad. What's wrong? I gave her the wrong one. What I gave that girl wasn't the life-saving hair, it was my hair. Of course, at that moment, I had no idea. I even pulled the hair with all my might and flung it straight at the colossal monster. Heavenly spirits, earthly spirits, ancestral master appear swiftly. Evil monster, prepare to die. The hair floated in the air, flickering for a moment, then gently fell to the ground, creating no commotion whatsoever. There was no scene of thunder roaring or anyone being summoned, as I had imagined. Why isn't it working? Maybe it needs a little more time to take effect, or should we wait a little longer? All right. A moment later, still nothing happened, and the atmosphere became incredibly awkward. Ha ha ha, this little girl is truly interesting. I like humorous people like you. At that point, all I could do was force a smile. My lord, if you're happy, that's enough. Now that you're so happy, why don't you let me go? No way. It's rare to meet someone as interesting as you. Stay and bear me a chubby son, then you can go. It's over, master, why would you do this to your disciple? No, it's not like that. It seemed anything more I said would be useless. I sighed. My martial uncle and I truly were from the same lineage, destined for lifelong, high-stakes battles. The first time I descended the mountain, I ran into a living ghost trying to become an immortal. The second time, I immediately encountered a monster that had already become a god. Those who dare to call themselves gods possess earth-shattering abilities, and I was unlucky enough to cross paths with one. How should we eat this girl? Her skin is so smooth, should we just eat her raw? I think it would be tastier sliced thin and dipped in soy sauce. Truly a gourmet. Just as I was about to close my eyes and await death, I suddenly heard a strange voice. Everyone shut up, stop talking. I opened my eyes to see that the 5th face of Lord 5 manifestations had awakened. He picked up the hair on the ground, sniffed it. Indeed, it's that asterisk person. Little one, what's your name? Zhao Yaqing. You bear your master's surname. Yes. Is your master's name Zhao Kongming? That's right, that's master's Dharma name at Qingcheng Mountain. How do you know this? The situation seemed to be shifting slightly. Does your master have a Taoist companion, any children? Master has never married, so of course, she has no Taoist companion or children. I never thought the karma from years ago would manifest in this person now. Senior, do you know my master? Years ago, I had a cert yuan with her. If that incident hadn't happened back then, if you met me now, you might even have to call me Martial Granduncle. Huh? So the yuan that Lord 5 manifestations mentioned was about a past romantic entanglement. In the current situation, Lord 5 manifestations had no reason to lie to me. I could only silently lament, Master, you truly were bold in your youth. How could you dare to do such a thing? Do you think I'm too ugly, not worthy of your master? No, not at all. Senior, you are truly a natural talent, a marvel of creation, so beautiful that even ghosts weep. I mean very beautiful, roughly like that. If you once had a connection with my master, then why bother marrying someone as small as me? That would mess up the hierarchy. Who said I wanted to marry you? This sedan chair was originally intended to take you to Black Mountain to be a maid for that old demon. But on the way, it passed by my Du Jiao Mountain, and I sensed a karmic connection, so I intercepted it. I told you to shut up, didn't I? Yes, big brother, I'll shut up immediately. Under the scolding of the face in the middle, the angry face immediately tucked its tail and dared not utter another sound. This person, though crude in words, had made things clear. Little girl, you and I indeed share a karmic connection, so take out that thing. What thing? The piece of skin in your chest that you intend to use to subdue that living ghost. Hearing this, I took out the piece of skin I was holding and handed it to Lord Five Manifestations. Not bad, but unfortunately, it lacks a bit of divine essence. Even if you use it, it won't be enough to subjugate the living ghost. But luckily, you met me. I will make up for this deficiency. As he spoke, Lord Five Manifestations' cross-shaped head began to spin like a windmill. 4 kinds of sounds: joy, anger, sorrow, and delight rang out simultaneously, blending into the piece of skin. A moment later, the skin was returned to my hand. Now, this thing can subdue that living ghost. Thank you, Senior. No need to thank me. This is a debt I owed your master years ago. Today, consider this karmic bond repaid. So, Senior, I'll take my leave now. My life is important, and I still have to go to Wuling to subdue that living ghost. You foolish girl, do you intend to walk? This is Leju, 640,000 li from Wuling, Jingzhou. 640,000 li? I hadn't expected that in a flash. That ghost had brought me so far away. Now, even if I ran back, it would be too late. All right, if you're going to do a good deed, finish it. If you're sending Buddha, send him all the way to the Western Heaven. Get in the sedan chair. You 4, escort this little girl for a ways. With that, the 4 faces on Lord Five Manifestations' crosshead jumped down. They transformed into 4 heads, with arms and legs growing from their ears and chins. They walked to the red sedan chair, lifted it, and placed it on their heads. Get in the sedan chair. But fair warning, we'll only escort you to your destination. We're not responsible for helping you fight that living ghost. That's more than enough. As soon as I got into the sedan chair, I heard another voice echo. Little girl, if you meet your master again in the future, don't say I helped you. If she asks, just say I'm dead. I hadn't even had time to ask why before the sedan chair began to sway and move. Approximately half an hour later, the sedan chair stopped. We've arrived. I glanced at the city wall. There was no one left. I guessed that the living ghost had already captured all the city's inhabitants. At this moment, it was probably at the city god temple performing a ceremony to the Heavenly Hound, and I only had 1 bag of gold dust left. The incense stick on my head had also burned down to a quarter. With so little, there was no way I could break through the encirclement of 100 ghosts to subdue that living ghost. If that's the case, then all right. You've brought me here, we're leaving. Oh, wait. Didn't your elder brother say that if you're sending Buddha, you must send him all the way to the Western Heaven? So, why don't you just take me straight to the living ghost? Are you sure? Absolutely. Bold, aren't you? Get in the sedan chair. As soon as I sat down, the sedan chair swayed and flew into the air. Later, when you fly above that ghost's head, just throw me straight down. Indeed, she's that woman's disciple, no less daring. The red sedan chair, carried by the 4 heads, soared over the city wall and shot straight towards the city god temple. Outside the temple, dozens of large wooden stakes had been erected. The city's inhabitants were all chained to these stakes. The old temple, once dedicated to the city god, had been destroyed, replaced by a tall, dark, and eerie altar. On the altar, the purple-robed ghost, leader of the 100 ghosts of Mount Udu, was performing a strange, trance-like dance, muttering incomprehensible incantations. He intended to sacrifice all the people to the Heavenly Hound, while in the sky, the moon was slowly being swallowed by the Heavenly Hound, its light growing weaker and weaker. Beside the altar, hundreds of black dog shadows had appeared. As soon as the moon disappeared completely, these heavenly hounds, full from devouring moonlight, would begin to devour humans. At this moment, my sedan chair, like a fiery red arrow, pierced through the ghost horde and charged straight towards the living ghost on the altar. This is it. I leaped out of the sedan chair. From all directions, dozens of iron chains whistled towards me, wrapping tightly around me. I opened my bag and flung the last bag of gold dust. In an instant, all the chains transformed into a wisp of black smoke and vanished. This was the best chance, and the only chance. I pulled out the human skin from my chest. The great ghost of Mount Udu was the vengeful spirit formed from the unjustly deceased children of Wuling. At this time, those they most hated were undoubtedly their parents, for their parents had heartlessly eaten them. And those they most feared were also the very ones who had eaten them. Yet, at the very last moment, my hand hesitated slightly. I seemed to understand why my martial uncle had nearly lost half her life back then. That which can scare ghosts can also scare humans. But I still resolutely pulled the human skin over my face. It was the face of a woman. Or perhaps it should be said, it was a face patched together from countless other women's faces. I had created it based on the appearances of the mothers in Wuling County. These women who had given birth to these children were also the mothers of the ghosts before me. From deep in my throat, I uttered the words the great ghost feared most. "Child, mother has come to eat you." The purple-robed ghost froze, followed by a frantic, piercing scream. "Mother, don't eat me, I still want to live, don't eat me, I want to live." A surge of gloomy, chilling aura poured out of him. The ghosts surrounding the altar shrieked and scattered in chaos. "Don't eat me, don't eat me." The incense stick on my head blazed furiously, struggling to ward off the invasive ghostly aura, but the distance was too close. How could I not be affected? It felt as if all my internal organs had frozen solid. Finally, amidst the heart-wrenching cries of the purple-robed ghost, he shrieked in fear, so terrified that his soul shattered. The ghostly aura dissipated and vanished, leaving only a piece of dark purple ghost skin on the ground. At the same time, the last incense stick on my head burned out. My entire body felt limp and weak, lying on the altar. The surrounding ghosts had also dispersed. This was because the 100 ghosts of Mount Udu were, in essence, only a single ghost. They were a collective of the resentments of unjustly deceased children. The purple-robed ghost was their vital point. When the vital point was destroyed, the other ghosts immediately vanished with it. Finally, it's over. I wondered if that old Taoist priest was still alive or dead. This poor monk is still doing well, not off to the western heaven yet. The voice echoed from the shadows. An old Taoist priest slowly walked out, coming to my side. "Poor monk, you're that ghost-raising monk." "Precisely. I had originally intended to abandon this plan. I didn't expect you to actually be able to subdue this ghost." "You scoundrel," I cursed, secretly reaching into my sleeve. Inside, there was still a strand of his hair. If only I could touch it, I could. "Don't waste your effort." The old Taoist priest gently pulled his hair down. "An ordained person must keep the 6 senses pure. How could I have hair for you to take?" Damn it, it was a wig. I quickly reached up to grab my own hair, but my entire body had already been corroded by ghostly energy. I couldn't move. Moreover, I had exhausted all my magic power. "What exactly do you want?" I tried to buy time. "What else can I do?" This poor monk already said. This poor monk follows the deviant path. If I continue cultivating this way, in a few years, let alone becoming an immortal, I'll probably be meeting the Buddha first. So, of course, I must find another way. The bald monk, at this point, picked up the ghost's skin from the ground and draped it over himself. He took the magical artifact from the altar and, mimicking the purple-robed ghost, began to dance and chant. At this point, I understood everything. There was no great ghost on Mount Udu wanting to become an immortal. It was this old monk who wanted to become an immortal. The heavenly hound devouring the moon, the mystical elixir condensing at the peak, the altar already set, the offerings already bound. The plan was to sacrifice the blood of all the city's inhabitants to gain immortality. Before this, the purple-robed ghost had already negotiated with the heavenly hound. Now, the old monk, cloaked in ghost skin, was impersonating the ghost. There was only one final step. The heavenly hound was about to completely devour the moon. When the moonlight completely vanished, he would offer all the people as blood sacrifices. That god in the high heavens would not care if the offerings were human or ghost. As long as the offerings were presented, the gate would open, and at that time, this bald monk would achieve enlightenment and become an immortal. I laboriously opened my eyes, struggling to look up at the sky. The moon had been completely devoured, the ritual had officially begun. Beside the altar, the shadowy figures of the heavenly hounds, which had been mere phantoms, now solidified into physical forms. The bald monk no longer danced and chanted but knelt on the ground, hands clasped towards the sky. Lord Heavenly Hound, bear witness, your disciple humbly offers all the people of Wuling County as sacrifice. Before his words were finished, he suddenly choked. At the same time, the loose ghost skin he wore suddenly tightened, constricting his body. Yin Fu Sha Gui Pei Ku? A clear bell rang from afar, accompanied by a strange incantation. The bell in the bald monk's hand also rang in response. His mouth trembled, painstakingly uttering the same incantation, Yin Fu Sha Gui Pei Ku? I had heard my master chant this kind of incantation before. This was not human speech. This was the language of ghosts. Who is chanting? Gui Chu Chi Zia Jai Cheng Fei Zun? The bell and the strange incantation rang out from afar again. This time the bald monk was completely manipulated. His mouth mumbled, repeating exactly, Chu Chi Zia Jai Cheng Fei Zun? Another bell rang. This time I clearly heard the incantation that was transmitted. Lord Heavenly Hound, bear witness, your disciple humbly offers his own body and soul as sacrifice. The bald monk, like a lost soul, repeated that suicidal incantation. The pack of black hounds around the altar lunged forward simultaneously, tackling him to the ground, tearing him to shreds, devouring both his flesh and bones, his soul and spirit, leaving nothing behind. After a storm of blood and gore, the ritual of the Heavenly Hound devouring humans finally ended. The black shadows of the pack of hounds gradually faded, finally dissipating into nothingness, leaving only a lone piece of purple ghost skin on the ground. The moonlight once again shone down, the moon's shadow clearly outlining the figure standing there. From afar, that person slowly walked towards me. It was a child, about 7 or 8 years old. That person was Little Radish. I stared at him, my eyes filled with hatred. So, should I call you Little Radish or the Ghost King of Mount Udu? I should have realized this earlier. All the children in the city had been eaten. How could there still be a child left on the mountain? Now what? Why are you here? Are you planning to eat people, or are you planning to eat me too? My voice was hoarse, my throat raw from the piercing, cold energy. Why are you so angry? Didn't you tell me to call you elder sister? I don't dare accept it. I truly am a fool. First I was tricked by you, then by that old monk. I'm not the Ghost King of Mount Udu or anything. I'm just a lonely, wild ghost. Do you think I still believe these ghostly lies? People say that when humans are about to die, their words become benevolent. And even though I'm a ghost, I'm also about to die. So, the words I speak must be true, right? I frowned. About to die? What do you mean? Aren't you here to eat people? The great ghost of Mount Udu is dead. The past is over. I am just the last remnant about to vanish. Hearing this, I gradually calmed down and thought carefully. Throughout this journey, the boy seemed to have always helped me. The great ghost had such profound magic, yet I was able to escape its prison so easily. Amidst the vast sea of people, this kid led me straight to the source of the 100 ghosts. And that night, it was he who warned me that someone had poisoned me. If he truly wanted to harm me, he probably wouldn't have waited until now. I'm sorry, I used to. Don't say that. Many people in this world have wronged me, but you haven't. But I still didn't understand. Didn't he hate them? Those who had eaten him? Little Radish smiled, his eyes distant. Actually, at first we had no hatred. After dying, we just felt too cold outside and wanted to go home. But our parents didn't seem to want to welcome us back. If they didn't want us, then so be it. After that, we all went up the mountain. On the way, we saw many other children in the Qinghe River, so everyone went up the mountain together. At first, we thought maybe we could stay on the mountain like this forever, running and playing every day, digging up wild radishes to eat when hungry. But then an old monk came. He told us that our parents ate us, so we should hate our parents. We should cultivate and then descend the mountain to eat all our parents. A few of us believed him. I didn't believe him, but I didn't object either, because I felt the old monk's words seemed both right and wrong. But gradually, all the children started planning to descend the mountain and eat people. So no one played with me anymore. Only Crimson Ghost occasionally visited, and then I met you. You're right, humans cannot live forever in darkness. Neither can ghosts. We can eat them, but then what? Well, they turn into ghosts and then we eat each other. Human eats human, ghost eats human, ghost eats ghost. Days like that will never end. Besides, that year there seemed to be no better way. If they hadn't eaten us, perhaps everyone would have died. It's just that, even so, it's not right. Children are not born to be eaten, but there was no better way, right? I didn't know what to say. Come on, Yaqing, don't be sad anymore. Actually, among the children back then, many have already let go and forgiven. Otherwise, what do you think? With your skipping class, three-legged cat martial arts, how could you have charged into the horde of ghosts twice and still escaped alive? That's a bit embarrassing, actually. Oh, right, there's one more thing I haven't asked. Your name is Zhao Yaqing, which means bright in the night or firefly. This name is quite interesting. Why was it given? Master told me there's a legend. It says that when dusk was falling and the sun was about to set before it disappeared, the sun gathered all the light in the world before it and asked, "After I am gone, who can bear this heavy responsibility?" The moon replied, "Besides me, who else is worthy?" The firewood said, "No one but me is worthy." And the firefly said, "I will try my best." Master hoped that throughout my life, whatever I did, I could do it wholeheartedly and with a clear conscience. After hearing that, Little Radish moved closer to me and gently pinched my cheek. You truly did your best. Now I must go too. The boy's body gradually became transparent. Goodbye, elder sister Yaqing. Little Radish, if we truly can meet again, I'll treat you to 3 candied hawthorn skewers. All right then. Little Radish departed, and the long, hazy night enveloped the entire world. Zhao Yaqing, shining in the night. Could a tiny firefly truly illuminate the silent darkness? When the first rays of dawn once again shone upon the ancient land of Wuling County, there was no longer the 100 Ghosts Night Parade, no great ghost of Mount Udu, no heavenly hound devouring the moon, and of course, no Little Radish.